Hello and welcome to this video update. It's designed to inform you about the changes and the enhancements in the latest version of SBDS software and hardware, version 13.0.
We've got several new features that will expand SBDS coverage on current vehicles and enable us to access the new 94 models equipped with the EEC5 powertrain control system. These include the 3.8-liter Mustang and the 4.6-liter Thunderbird and Cougar.
The first thing we'll notice on 13.0 is the new welcome screen and a new main menu. 13.0 will also provide a new vehicle entry procedure, powertrain control module reprogramming for EEC5 vehicles, transmission diagnostics, a manual lever position test in the transmission category, 14 new cables, adapters, and transducers, expanded coverage of existing tools, and numerous screen enhancements.
In addition to this video, your 13.0 update package includes a cover letter, compact disc, a new installation disc and installation instructions, a coverage chart, 13.0 newsletter, and a bound copy of previous newsletters, a 13.0 highlights book, a poster, new user's guide insert, and 11 new pieces of hardware. They include the C6161 roving probe kit number 2, the GPC general purpose communication cable, the PVA 3M mini road test cable, the B593 oxygen sensor and throttle position adapter socket, the B887 mass airflow throttle position and manual lever position adapter socket, the B886 mass airflow throttle position and manual lever position adapter plug, the D372 DCL adapter for PVA used with EEC4 engines, the D373 J1962 adapter for PVA used with EEC5 engines, the D374 DDL adapter for PVA used with Villager, meaning we'll be able to EEC test Villagers and process DCL display functions, the F38 DDL adapter for CFR used with Villager, and the F37 J1962 adapter for CFR used with EEC5 engines. 3 more adapters will be included with the 13.0 monthly updates. They include the B592 oxygen sensor and throttle position adapter plug, the F1173 dual output for tachometer and distributorless ignition cylinder identification, and D3-175 and 176 port 1 and 2 shorting adapters. A concern is developed in conjunction with a Release 12.5 upgrade that has been installed on your SBDS. The upgrade is incompatible with certain past model vehicles, and damage will occur to your SBDS if connected to the self-test connector on these vehicles. 1985 and earlier vehicles have a high probability of this problem and should not be connected to SBDS. As a temporary solution, remove and insulate the tack wire from the self-test connector on the affected vehicles. As a further precaution, refer to your latest SBDS tool coverage chart. If the vehicle you wish to test is not listed or does not have DCL display coverage, like this 1988 5-liter Thunderbird, check the self-test connector for a tack lead. If there is a tack lead, remove and insulate it before connecting to the SBDS. Vehicles with DCL display coverage, like this 91 5.0 T-Bird, will require no modification to the self-test or data link connector. A long-term solution is under investigation. More information will be released as it becomes available.
The new main menu has replaced the vehicle entry button with a body chassis electrical toolbox button. This button is grayed out or not operational at this time, but will be available for future updates. If we select Diagnostics or Oasis or Powertrain Toolbox, that is any function that is VIN-driven, we will access a vehicle entry screen. Here we can just touch Continue if the vehicle we want is in the active area. check past VINs to see if the vehicle is in the vehicle file, or type in a new VIN. Let's look at past VINs. The vehicle selection file can now hold up to 100 vehicle identification numbers, which will stay in the file for 7 days. After 7 days, SBDS will automatically remove the VIN in the associated vehicle log. If we need to save a VIN in a log for a longer period of time, we'll touch Hold and the VIN will now stay until manually removed. If we touch Remove for a VIN on hold, we get a removal confirmation screen. Let's touch No. If our VIN is in the scroll box, we can touch Continue to proceed. If not, let's touch New VIN. If there's a VIN or mileage showing, touch Clear. This will not remove the VIN from the vehicle file. It just clears the boxes so a new VIN can be entered. Type in the new VIN and mileage. Now let's continue. Here's the vehicle confirmation screen. We'll touch Yes to proceed to the powertrain toolbox. Let's go to a power balance test. Some hookup screens now look like this, with a schematic instead of text. Help looks different too. In addition to the original 6 help modules, we can now go to the information module from any help menu and access service manuals, calibrations, broadcast messages, technical service bulletins, users information, EVTMs, or even recalls and owner notifications. Let's touch Menu, and we're back at the Help menu. Let's select Hookup. It now shows descriptions of the cables and adapters shown in the hookup schematic. We've selected Battery. This tells us all about the battery cable. Pressing the Menu button takes us back to the Help menu, and Exit returns us to where we were when we entered Help. Continue takes us to this screen. This note was in a recent newsletter and improves the dependability of power balance. We can continue from the screen or from the pendant. We'll find several tools now allow continue from the pendant. EEC4 tests in 13.0 are essentially the same as previous software levels. So let's return to the main menu and select another VIN. This one is a 94 that's in the vehicle selection file. We'll touch Yes on the confirmation screen. The toolbox category, electronic engine control instruments, look familiar except for one new item, PCM Reprogramming. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. For now, let's select Kion Engine off self-test.
We're going to use some of our new 13.0 hardware. First, connect the GPC cable to the boom. Then, connect the D373 adapter to the GPC cable. The D373 adapter then connects to the new EEC5 test connector, which is now located under the instrument panel. This connector conforms to SAE standard J1962, which is required for OBD2 vehicles. We'll turn the key on and continue from the pendant. The code outputs are in the same format as the EEC4. Of course, we use the new 5-digit codes. The P1000 code indicates that a fault is not detected, but all of the OBD2 monitors have not yet been tested. An appropriate drive cycle is required to clear this code. Let's return to the powertrain menu and take a look at the new electronic engine control instrument called Powertrain Control Module Reprogramming. We expect this feature will be available on the 13.02 monthly update. The PCM Reprogramming tool lets you reprogram the 104-pin EEC5 with an updated calibration. This is done through the data link connector between SBDS and the vehicle. The PCM remains in the vehicle during reprogramming. This tool is used with EEC5 vehicles only. When we touch Continue, SBDS displays applicable TSBs and recalls, if any exist, for our vehicle. We will proceed only after completing any replacements or repairs called for. We'll follow the hookup instructions and touch Continue. This screen instructs us to remove the regular CD from the drive and install the Calibration Update CD. The Calibration Update CDs will be included as necessary with your monthly update. The timer is displayed during the reprogramming process. After reprogramming, SBDS displays the information necessary to complete the authorized modification label. SBDS then conducts a self-test and automatically prints the vehicle log file. Back at the Toolbox menu, we select DCL Display. We now have the option of selecting auxiliary tests in DCL Display. Let's add fuel pressure and continue. Follow the hookup screen schematic and continue. This looks familiar. Let's select Table. The Parameter Select screen has some new acronyms. Also, our update time is faster on both EEC4 and EEC5 systems. The continuous code counter will indicate the number of times an intermittent code has occurred. Let's look at all the parameters. We see lots of new items. Here's the fuel pressure we selected. Our continuous code counter said we've had one intermittent since the codes were clear. Up here, we see an L superimposed. This is a new log button that we'll see on certain 13.0 screens. There's also a road test button, so we can go directly to DCL Recorder and Monitor. The items we've selected will be automatically downloaded to the PVA, and we'll get a new road test hookup screen. Notice that we'll be using the new PVA 3M mini road test cable. DCL road test procedures are similar to 12.0. When we return, Continue will upload our recording. Or if someone has used SBDS for information while we were road testing, we could select Road Test and Upload Session from the Toolbox menu and touch Continue. We have some new features in the 13.0 recorder tools that are accessed through the Data Link connector. They include the Transmission DCL Recorder Monitor and the Transmission Customer Flight Recorder. Let's use DCL Customer Flight Recorder as an example. Here's the hookup screen showing the connections. The parameter select screen has the same items we saw in DCL display with one difference. If we highlight CCNT, Continuous Code Counter, we see that the Units button is active. We should select pound AT. In playback, it will show us the number of codes set, and the AT will provide auto trigger. If a code is set, capture will be triggered automatically. All continuous code should be recorded and cleared from the PCM before connecting the recorder. This will assure proper operation of the CFR. The hookup screen shows the new J1962 CFR cable, F37, that we need for EEC5 vehicles. Now we're ready for the road test. During the road test, we observed that the red light came on without pressing the capture button. This indicates an auto capture. Back in the shop, we select Road Test and Upload Session from the Toolbox menu. Here's the upload hookup. We need to name the recording, and here's the playback menu. Let's select Graph. This is a new screen. Notice the code box indicates the recording was captured via auto trigger. If we had captured the recording manually, the code box would indicate manual trigger. The asterisk indicates that the code was captured during the recording period. Code description identifies the IAT sensor circuit. Since we identified the IAT as a cause, we'll select that parameter along with RPM and CCNT. We had selected IAT degrees, so the graph went low when the circuit opened up. Here's where the continuous code counter tripped. And as we move the cursor across the trip, we see the counter go from 1 to 2. The 1 count is for the P1000 code, drive cycle not completed.
Now let's select Diagnostics from the main menu. With Diagnostics, we still have our various drivability concerns and drivability symptoms. In addition, we can now select Transmission. Each one of the concern selections in this window gives us an expanded list of appropriate symptoms. Let's use Upshift Concerns Harsh. Here's our visual inspection reminder list. And we also get a listing of known concerns if there are any. This brings us back to the Diagnostics menu. We still have the option to skip around in categories if we want to, or follow the automated diagnostics path for instruments. Of course, all the diagnostic instruments are tools available in the Toolbox module. Let's look at the first two. Kion Engine off should be our first test, and any faults indicated should be repaired. Kion Engine off shows passcodes, so we'll touch Menu. This will move Diagnostics to the manual lever position test. MLP Test is a new tool available for 13.0 and can be accessed in Powertrain Toolbox as well as Diagnostics. Hookup for the MLP Test is easy. First of all, MLP Test gives us a quick check of MLP sensor adjustment. The arrows on the screen indicate the normal range for each gear selection. The bar should fall inside the arrows at each position. A histogram will trace the location of each gear position. Reset will clear the histogram and will log the reset time up here in the banner area. This is another 13.0 screen enhancement we'll see on other screens. Pinpoint gives us additional information about MLP voltage concerns. If we see a malfunction while doing a wiggle test or going through the gears, we can capture the event with the screen button or the pendant. If we have selected auto capture and can induce the concern, it will be captured automatically. As we move the shift selector, the capture button changes to recording, indicating that MLP voltage has gone out of range. After 5 seconds, which is the time after capture, the recording button changes to graph. If we touch the graph button, we see a graph of the event that shows a problem as we went from neutral to drive. The high voltage indicates that the circuit or sensor opened up. A wiggle test could locate the cause. Return takes us back to the test screen. After retesting the repair, we'll touch Menu and return to the Diagnostics menu. Since it was located and repaired in the MLP test, we can touch Menu to exit Diagnostics and verify the repair with a road test.
Here's another look at the F1173 dual output transducer. It's expected to arrive with your 1302 monthly update and will replace the F1100 adapter. There's no directional arrow on this adapter, so it can be attached either way to the spark plug wire. After you install 1302 on your SBDS, the F1100 will no longer work. Watch for disposal instructions for the old adapter. Included with 1303 will be these D3175 and D3176 shorting adapters. Install these to the port 1 and 2 plugs of your D333 60-pin adapter. Once installed, these adapters should be left on your D333 permanently. With these adapters in place, you'll be able to run the car with the port 1 and 2 cables removed from the D333. The B592, which will come with 1301, and the B593, B886, and B887 that came in your 13.0 package will be used with new Pinpoint tools as they come online.
The 13.0 update also provides added vehicle coverage for the relative fuel delivery test on EFI or bank-fired injector engines. It adds 2.3 dual-plug engines to the EI low data rate DIS ignition system tests. 13.0 provides road test recording capability with both DCL recorder monitor and a customer flight recorder for the Villager through the data link connector. For EEC4 vehicles, the 60-pin recordings now have pinpoints on playback, and additional information is provided in various help modules. Be sure to review the new user's guide. It's been completely updated. For example, there's a different diskette drive cleaning procedure in the maintenance and care section.
The 13.0 package is another big step in the evolution of SBDS. With all the enhancements of SBDS, and with the advent of OBD2 or EEC5 on some of our new cars, there's bound to be questions. Remember that the Support Center is there to help. Call 1-800-654-4777 for any SBDS-related questions or concerns.
As always, your input has been invaluable in developing the Service Bay Diagnostics system. Please continue to supply us with your comments, suggestions, and success stories.
Your help is vital in continuing the improvements that build satisfied owners who buy again.